Welcome to your Daily Dose of Sunday School, episode 129. We are continuing looking at the fifth commandment through the Westminster Shorter Catechism. The fifth commandment is, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God gives you. And we're on question 65. What is forbidden in the fifth commandment? The fifth commandment forbids the neglecting of or doing anything against the honor and duty which belongs to everyone in their several places and relations. So, we already saw from question 64 that this includes superiors, inferiors, or equals. So, it's a little more obvious how the fifth commandment applies to superiors, since the commandment mentions father and mother. But we've been discussing how that would expand to other people as we take it to heart. We learn to show appropriate honor to everyone in their various positions. So a great example, I mentioned this yesterday, but I didn't have the text. Acts 23, 2 through 5. And the high priest, and this is Paul before the Jewish council. I think this is Sanhedrin. I'm not sure. It just says council. So, anyway, verse 2 says, And the high priest, Ananias, commanded those who stood by him to strike him on the mouth. Then Paul said to him, God is going to strike you, you whitewashed wall. Are you sitting to judge me according to the law, and yet, contrary to the law, you order me to be struck? Those who stood by said, Would you revile God's high priest? And Paul said, I did not know, brothers, that he was the high priest, for it is written, You shall not speak evil of a ruler of your people. So this is an interesting example. I mean, he knew the guy, whoever it was sitting in judgment. And so he spoke some harsh words against him. It was when he found out he was the high priest that he repented. So he showed him honor because of the authority given by God. Although I'm not sure exactly who he thought he was who was acting as his judge, that he was willing to rebuke him like that. I'm not sure, but it at least in terms of that relationship of high priest, even though the high priest was being very wicked in the acts he was carrying out, Paul respected the position. Now, I was thinking about yesterday, we talked about the honor shown to inferiors, and that is not people who are inferior worth or anything else, but inferior in lower authority. That's the idea. So 1 Peter 3:7, I think this is a very good one. It says, Likewise, husbands, live with your wives in an understanding way, showing honor to the woman as the weaker vessel, since they are heirs with you of the grace of life, so that your prayers may not be hindered. So, the way I've heard this explained is that of teacups and sledgehammers. That's borrowed from Douglas Wilson. It says a weaker vessel, right? In our culture, if you even acknowledge that women are typically weaker, then you are sexist and you are devaluing women. When that is, to say anything else would be science denying, which we get accused of often enough as Christians. But yes, women are typically weaker, almost to the point where there is very little overlap in that Venn diagram, especially when it comes to things like upper body strength. Very little overlap. Yes, there are a few women that are stronger than a few men. So that weakness requires honor to be shown. So imagine sledgehammers and teacups. Okay, the men are the sledgehammers, the women are teacups. idiot sledgehammer thinks that the teacup is less valuable because she cannot drive a nail or whatever, drive a fence post in the ground. When in fact, the teacup actually costs the same price. And the teacup can do many things that the sledgehammer cannot do. But really what this illustration helps you with is the idea of honor to the weaker vessel. You know, you can throw the sledgehammer in the back of your trunk, you throw the sledgehammer in the shed with all the other garden tools, and yet the teacup, you wouldn't think about doing that. You show honor to the weaker vessel. You clean it, you put it in a nice place, and that is a biblical way of thinking about the differences between the sexes. But you see that it requires, so this is, and it's making a generalization, which is almost universally true. This is why husbands typically get in more trouble for spousal abuse, because it's more of an issue there. It's more dangerous there. It's a almost universal statement, but he's applying it to husbands. Live with your wives in an understanding way. So the husband, the wife is supposed to honor and obey her husband, and the husband is supposed to show her honor. The honor doesn't look the same. So all that to say, I believe that the Westminster Shorter Catechism is correct in saying that the honor applies to different people, whether they are above you in authority, below you in authority, above you in strength, below you in strength, that sort of thing. It applies. There's honor for all human beings, though.